connotations in this ayah that are extremely deep. But then Allah, why does He say He's Sami' and He's Alim? Because sometimes we are so quick to judge. This man who doesn't have a beard, he's not wearing a thobe, or the sister who's not wearing a hijab, we're quick to judge that this person is not really a Muslim. Then they're in their heart, we don't know what's going on. Have they disbelieved in the Taghut? Are they on that road towards the light? We don't know. So yakfur, so people who've disbelieved, and Allah uses the word disbelieve, yakfur, to mean people who've actually denied the Taghut in this ayah. It's a very interesting use of the word that Allah says. So disbelieve, when we think about kafir, we think about the disbeliever, but then the disbeliever is normally translated into people who don't believe in Allah. But in this ayah, the kafir are the people, it says yakfur bit taghut. So the disbelievers in the taghut, and also wa yu'min billahi, and they've believed in Allah, they've brought iman upon Allah. فَقَدْ اسْتَمْسَكَ, قَدْ, surely, surely, astamsaka means to grasp something really strongly. To grasp something really strongly. Bil urwata is like a handful. It's a handhold. So you're grasping on to what? To the promise of Allah. La infisam laha, it doesn't break. They've held on to bil urwatil uthqa, to the firm thing. What is that firm thing? Allah also denotes that as His promise. So because the Quran is basically a visual kitab, it gives ideas, it portrays lessons visually. So as we read it, we're supposed to be imagining. And so Allah is saying, to grasp onto the bil urwatil uthqa, which doesn't break, lan fisama laha, is like, it's like chinks in a chain that has no chinks. And so what has a chain? An anchor has a chain, or something that's holding on to an anchor has a chain. And so when you're holding on to the chain, the anchor of Islam, for dear, dear life, these are the people who have denied the Taghut and have come forth to believe Allah, have literally just held on. Because this dunya is a place of fitna. This dunya is a place of fasad. And these people who've held on to the belief of Allah, and they've denied the propaganda that the Taghut are throwing at them, the world is throwing at them again and again, then they've held on not only to the chink that never breaks, but it's a promise that Allah makes. And the promise that Allah makes is I'm going to return you to Jannah. The promise that He made our father, Adam alayhi salam, I'm going to return you to Jannah. Wallahu sami'un alim. Allah is all hearing and Allah is all knowing. Connotations in this ayah that are extremely deep. And so if we go into detailed discussion, which hopefully we can get into another day, but then Allah, why does He say He's Sami' and He's Alim? When He's talking about the people who've denied, who've disbelieved in the Taghut, because sometimes we are so quick to judge. This man who doesn't have a beard, he's not wearing a thobe, or the sister who's not wearing a hijab, we're quick to judge that this person is not really a Muslim. Like the basics of Islam are missing. But then they're in their heart, we don't know what's going on. Have they disbelieved in the Taghut? Are they on that road towards the light? We don't know. And so when we're quick to judge, we're basically doing another form of zulumat. And Allah says, I am the all-hearing, I am the all-knowing, I'm going to judge who did the kafir, the kufr of Taghut and the yu'min of Allah. That's not your job. That's not my job. My job is to remind. My job is not to force. My job is not to say, hey, that's not Islam. You can't be doing that. You're not a Muslim. That's not our judgment. That's not our place. The place for that, the only God, the only one that can do that is Allah. Not me. And so right there is the beginning of the ayah saying, I don't need you. He ends the ayah, you need to hold on to my chain, the chain that has no break, the promise that I've made. So literally saying, you need me. He ends the ayah with, you need me. But then remember, who is holding on firmly to that chain? That judgment is Allah's. Not yours, not mine. And that's how it is. And then right then after that, Allah in ayah number 257 says, so these people who've believed, Allahu waliyul ladhina amanu, not muttaqi, not, devout Muslims, amanu. If you've believed in Allah, then Allah becomes your wali. Wali is another interesting word. It's translated as protector, guardian. It's also translated as friend. But then the deeper translations or the deeper meanings of the word can also mean the one who has the most right to a relationship, the most qualifications to be in a relationship between two beings. It can also mean the one who has the most right to say that, that I'm in a relationship with him or her is a wali. And so something like your mother has the right of justifying that she is probably the most closest in relation, blood relation to you. So she's a wali. So Allah said, the summation of that word, protector, guardian, the right to relationship, the being that can say that he has the most right. When Allah says, I become the wali of the people who believe in me, Allah is saying that I become their closest. I become their closest friend, protector, guardian. And then yukhrijuhum min adh-dhulumati ila nur. Yukhrijuhum is translated as he brings them out, but it can also literally mean to kick someone out of somewhere, to evict someone out of a place, to like force them out. So when you believe in Allah, just amanu, just you believed in Allah, then Allah will gradually but purposefully literally kick you out. He will not let you be in darkness. He will show you the light. He will show you the true path. He will show you the direction that you need to be walking in. What Sirat al-Mustaqim is, He will show it to you. Whether you walk down that road is up to you. Whether you choose to believe in that and whether you choose to grasp onto that chink of Allah, that chain of Allah is up to you. But then Allah says, if you've believed in me, I become your wali and I will literally kick you out of all shades of darkness. And I will show you that this is not okay, this is not okay, this is not okay, this is not okay. And I will teach you those lessons and pull you out of that darkness towards the light. Zulumat is plural. Nur is singular. Because there's only one true path, one true religion, one true way that we should be going, one true truth. But then zulumat are multiple. Zulumat are many. Some of them are extremely bad. Some of them are maybe not as bad, but equally zulumat, equally darkness. And we, even Muslims, have zulumat in them. The anger, the greed, the jealousy, the fighting, I don't want to give this to my brother, I don't want to give inheritance, I don't want to, I don't want my sister to gain most of the property of my father, I want to get it all. Those are also forms of zulumat. And then when a guy enters Islam and he's becoming more religious, he becomes this so strict person and he becomes angry at everyone because they're not following Islam, is also a form of zulumat. When he thinks he's surrounded by light, when he's actually not surrounded by light, he's surrounded by mirages, things that he thinks that are guidance. But when he gets there, he will only find Allah in His swift judgment. Sariul Hisab is Allah. So Wallahu Sariul. He's swift in judgment. And right after that, Allah says, وَالَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا أَوْلِيَاؤُهُمُ الطَّاغُوتُ يُخْرِجُونَهُمْ مِنَ النُّورِ إِلَى الظُّلُمَاتِ. Same word except he added a na. What that basically makes all the difference in the world. And so Allah says, وَالَّذِينَ, and those who disbelieve. Now He's using kafaru to mean the people who disbelieved in Allah, kind of the opposite of amanu. Their protector, their guardian, their closest friend, their most right to relationship becomes the taghut. So the people, the things, the beings, the entities that are fighting against Islam, to diminish Islam, then become their best friends, protectors. And they're lost in that darkness so much that they think this is the right thing to do. This is the right thing to do. This is the direction that I need to be going. Everybody else is worried about their career. I need to be worried about my career. Everybody else is following that trend, this trend, going on this social media and that social media and saying this and doing that and wearing this and eating that. Those are the real things. And the shaitan beautifies them so much. The taghut beautifies them so much that they seem to be the absolutely right thing to do. It just becomes beautiful to them. And they celebrate it openly. And that's what Allah says, that these taghut then become their awliya. They become their protector. They become their best friends. They become the right to, you're among us, you're not among them. And not only that, but these people who were, or by name they're Muslim, or they think they're Muslim, now openly oppose Islam, saying, you know what, that part of the Quran just doesn't make sense to me. That part of Islam is a little too strict. That's not for me. That, you know what, it's all good that my father used to go to Jummah every Friday in the scorching sun. It's just not for me. You know what, I'm a more modern guy. I'm a more modern person, and I think that part of the culture I can do without. Fajr in the masjid, really? It's just too much. I have to now hide my hair under a hijab, this beautiful hair that I take so much care of, and I'm not allowed to show it to other people? No. I'm not showing it to other guys. This beautification of myself, it increases my confidence. This is for me. This is not for anybody else. And the taghut then deludes these people into thinking what they're doing is beautiful, what they're doing is right. And Allah says they become the awliya of these people. And then what do? يُخْرِجُونَهُمْ. Now Allah is dissociating himself away from that act, saying it's the taghut who now pull these people away from the light towards the darkness. But these are disbelievers. What light do they have? What light do they have to begin with? Well, every person had a light inside them when they were born. The fitra that a person is born with, or they were born into a Muslim family, they understood that there's Allah. They may still understand that there's Allah, but then they deny parts of religion or most of the religion. Then now they're being pulled away from the truth that they once understood towards the darkness that is becoming more and more and more beautiful. And they just don't get it. And then Allah says, Ulaika ashabun nar. Ashab comes from the word sahib, and it's translated as companions. But then the word sahib it can also mean someone you've grown up with, someone you really, really know and trust, like a school friend. You've grown up with them, even if you meet them 10 years, with a gap of 10 years, it's like you just met them yesterday. That's the feeling you have towards a school friend or a childhood friend. And so that's what sahib can actually mean. And so when Allah says ashabun nar, they're not just the companions of the hellfire because they were the disbelievers, but because they were also, that level of closeness was amongst them on the earth, because they were companions of each other on the earth. Now they become companions of each other in the hellfire. And they're going to live in there forever. And we hear this, hum fiha khalidun. So many times Allah says this in the Quran. Hum fiha khalidun. He says this about the believers who are going to reside in in heaven forever. And then he says this about the disbelievers and the taghut who are going to reside in hell forever. But it's such a frightening thing. Khalidun. They will abide in it forever. There is no end. There is no end to the hellfire.